good morning, viewers and followers from across the globe. You are welcome to LTV studio, anchoring both from London, Delta, and Abuja this morning, all simultaneously. And my name is Godfrey Baka, and I have in the studio here Engineer Mishak.
Always a pleasure. It's nice
Always
to be
a
here.
pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Thanks
and in
for having me.
Abuja, we have our very lovely sister and an ace broadcaster, Mary. Mary, you are welcome this morning. Daddy Chris will be joining us at intervals from the studio in UK.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Mary. Mary, how you doing? How is Abuja?
Abuja is fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this morning we'll be looking at the papers generally in order to find out the mood of the nation, talking about the Nigerian nation. But before we do that, there was a major political shift, a major political development that took place yesterday. It's been speculated about over and over, but yesterday it became very official. It came up to the public glare that the immediate past governor of Delta State and also the vice presidential candidate, he was a vice, he ran a joint ticket with the former vice president, talking of Atiku Abubakar, that both himself, the current governor of the state, the local government, in the chairman of the chairman of the 25 local government, and all the PDP structure, as it were, in Delta State, had moved over to APC. Yes, though it was speculated for some time, it became official yesterday. This morning, we shall be taking a look at the political implication of this major shift, considering that there are also speculations that this may just be one of the many moves by the Tinubu administration to have a full grip of the Southeast, South-South, considering the move that is also going on both in Kaduna, Katsina, and Abuja, of having a mega party that should be able to oust the Tinubu administration come 2027. So here we are in 2025. We are not yet in May, and people we elected into office have not yet quite, as it were, clocked 2 years. But the focus seemed to be entirely on 2027 and Tinubu's re-election and the defection of people who traditionally were said to have been. Come to think of it, Delta State is one of the states that was taunted or said to be a predominantly PDP stronghold since 1999. But all that change is also given the rest other people who will want to join the fold up until May 29 to do that. And interestingly, we are told that Wike had to congratulate Okowa, welcoming him to. Is Wike now in APC? But we said that he congratulated him for that wise move. And one of the major papers of the day says there is trouble in PDP. So we want to look at that generally and see what has informed this major political move. What are the implications of this political move on the future of our democracy? And have we seen the last of this, or are we expecting more? Maybe we can start from the Delta studio where we have Engineer Mishak.
I call it Armageddon in politics. I've never been so disappointed with the political ideology of this new generation politicians like I was yesterday. And it was a betrayal of trust on the majority of the electorate. About a week ago, they had parallel conventions, one in Akko, the other one in Owaaleros. The Owaaleros with the same ex-governor Okowa was there, and when PDP had a lot of campaigns from APC were welcome to PDP and discussed a lot of things. And why in happening live for Attack South, we had a lot of campaigns from PDP going to APC. People should understand what politicians do not love is themselves to love. They are more concerned about themselves and what they stand to benefit in the larger picture than governance. It was like I was like somebody was waking up from a nightmare. Now let us chronologically analyze the trajectory of what happened yesterday. It's a clear indication that no, in politics, there are no. It's all about interest. It's not about ideology anymore. I sat down to brood. Would a Republican state governor pack the structure of the Republican state, maybe Mississippi, state of Mississippi that is Republican, and say, I am decamping to Democrat, I want to be a Democrat, I'll move with my structure, all members of the House of Assembly, all members of the National Assembly that were before them Republicans, it's a cry. It's a cry for our democracy that this is not what we planned for. Democracy is supposed to have dissenting voices. That is democracy. Democracy is supposed to have counter voices. It's supposed to have checks and balances. But what we are seeing is a state of anarchy being recreated. Now, what happened to PDP? PDP shot themselves in the foot when they refused to use internal democracy within the chagrin of the party to make the rules and members of the party. Wike started this. In fact, the betrayal started from the last region when Okowa was said to have betrayed by contravening the agreed proposition by the South-Side governor that the president must come from the South. And he agreed in principle that to become the vice to Atiku. And of course, all that, the rest has been history. That was when the problem started. Wike started working against the PDP. And he didn't start working against the PDP. He continued working even after the election. And today, the reality is on ground. Let me read out some things for you to understand the trajectory of the doom that this country is going to. You will see, I'm giving you names. Certain people are going to be decamping to the PDP. You see, a conference has come saying APC is not going to be having any opposition in 2027, and which is realistic. They said that certain defections to APC has been insulting Okowa, has come out to hail Okowa that you have done noble. And of course, yes, Senator representing Kano South, Kawo Samaila, he has defected to APC. Kwakwanso and Governor Abba Yusuf, they are set to decamp to APC. I want to show you the greed and avarice of our politicians. They don't think about you. They don't care about you and I. What they care about is their interest, and that is what is happening. And 216 PDP and MPP members defect to APC in Jigawa State. Now, and I'm bringing more. Let's look at more. Yes, in fact, so many of them. I can House of Rep member Oluwole Oke to APC, Imasue to APC, Senator Nadi Imasue defect to APC. So you ask yourself a fundamental question: what are we practicing in this country? Is it democracy? Democracy is supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And democracy thrives better when there is a strong opposition to counter.
Before we go deep into that, let's bring in Abuja studio. Mary, what happened yesterday? Did you by any chance see it coming? Did you by any chance see it coming? That the former vice presidential candidate of PDP just 2 years ago will be moving over and, well, the way it is said, joining Okowa in joining Wike in APC, as it were. Did you by any means have an inkling concerning what happened yesterday? Did you by any means expect that it was going to happen? Well, I'm glad to announce that that the Chris is in London studio. So we want to take that from Abuja. Then, of course, London will come in. So, Mary, was it a shock to you? Some persons went to bed expecting it was a nightmare, and waking up this morning, they pitch themselves again, and they are picking up the papers, and they are seeing that, oh yes, it may have sounded like a nightmare, but it is real. And just yesterday, I think it was Daddy Chris that predicted that a number of the political developments in Nigeria sound more fictional than real. And you think it's a Nollywood, and at some point you want to say, oh, let us come back to the life of reality. So were you expecting that development yesterday? Mary, please.
Okay, there's this saying that politics is a game of interest. So I don't know why if anything happened in the political world, you will say if I'm surprised. I can't be surprised. The thing is, let's not get ready because Fubara definitely will still join the APC. And I'm not going to be surprised as well. You know, I feel like because they know that APC is the ruling party right now, so maybe a lot of them want to deliver for the president come 2027. And for them to be in a safer side, you see them abandoning their own party, a defect to another party. In as much as a lot of people are apportioning blames to Atiku, right, that he destroyed PDP, that is not the reason. It's just like when we feel like things are not working in Nigeria, we start leaving to another country. That is what PDP leaders are doing. You can't tell me that Atiku single-handedly destroyed the party. No, they want to deliver for the president. That is why they are leaving. And because of this selfishness, because of this interest they have, that is why you see them leaving. I think I saw in the news yesterday where Fubara is saying because for his interest, right, for the people of Rivers State, he wants to really save the people, and he might likely have to join the APC. And I'm just laughing. The thing is, you see politicians, I think it's time we stop a kind of allowing their issues to disturb us because there are ways
yes.
Confused things. Are you going to say that Wike is in PDP as it stands? Is Wike in PDP? We do say Wike is in PDP. So more and more they are still going to leave. I just want us to understand that more of our governors, they are still going to leave to APC. And that is why we have failed. Personally, there's nothing like democracy. We are just I know that
Mary, there is this perspective. Yes, there is this perspective that the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has been acting as if PDP is his personal asset and that he has it in his pocket, and that he never consulted members of the party before he went on the platform of PDP to discuss a coalition and meeting with the former president Muhammadu Buhari to work out a coalition with El-Rufai, working out a coalition that is targeted at booting out Tinubu come 2020. The same way a coalition in 2023 was that? Yeah. Yes, booted out Jonathan. 2015, thank you. In 2015, Jonathan was booted out in that manner. So there are stakeholders in the South who have this feeling that once beaten, twice shy, that if this coalition is allowed to go on, the way that Jonathan will come up to mean that the North will continue to determine the political trajectory of Nigeria. So, yes, some persons say those who defected could be said to be political valiants. They are undemocratic. But it appears as if there is something they are seeing, which the other man out there is not seeing, to save the South from the North. And that has resulted in this political tsunami. But before you come in their time in the diaspora, and of course, the initiator, the creator of this platform, is live in the London studio. Can we just get a feel of when you got the news yesterday? What was your instant feeling? And between yesterday and today, you have tried to process the reality of the political development. And can we have your take on that, Sir Chris?
Let's pray for Nigeria. My first thing is, let us pray for Nigeria. We have a problem. If I tell you I saw this coming, I'll be lying.
Let's pray for Nigeria says there is hope. But if Nigeria dies, then we'll have 1 minute silence. So let's pray for Nigeria. There is hope.
Exactly.
If Nigeria dies, then we'll take 1 minute silence.
I won't be surprised. I won't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and Nigeria is now part of Ghana. So the whole country can now move to Ghana. For what has happened, everything is possible in Nigeria. But it's a show of shame. It's a show of shame. In fact, some of the things they keep saying that, the baptism of sins, they keep talking about that. If you cross to APC, your sins are forgiven. We thought it's a joke, but it's happening. Okowa is the initiator of the one that happened in Delta State. He doesn't want to go to prison. He's been accused for 1.3 trillion. He has to decamp so that he'll be free. All you see here is a show of interest. They're fighting for themselves. That's fine. But the question we always ask is, of what interest is it to Nigeria? Now, the problem, we come on this show one day and we talk about credible opposition. They need to have a credible opposition. Now, you see, I know Tinubu is going to tell us, oh, I'm from the South. Don't vote for me. Do I look like somebody that vote for South or not? The question is, of what interest is this for Nigeria? We need a credible opposition. Tinubu has successfully destroyed the Nigerian politics. Let's give this credit to Tinubu that he has destroyed Nigerian politics today. I know he's going to tell us, oh, look at what is going on. Some people, these are the gang to. I heard you put a beautiful analogy how they kick Goodluck Jonathan out of office. If Jonathan was doing the right thing, I'm sure if Goodluck Jonathan knew what to do, I'm sure he would have remained in power. If you make an impact, people will vote for you again. The reason Goodluck, 90% of the reason Goodluck were booted out of offices, the country where the insecurity was one of them, the economy and the massive corruption. We thought Buhari could have, with the war against the discipline slogan of those days, will come and save Nigeria. That was what Nigeria voted for. And today, let us look at north south. Of what use? Of what use is Tinubu to you in the south? Let's even talk about north and south now. We're going to talk about it. What has Tinubu done for you people in the south? The same thing we ask them in the north. What is Atiku going to do for you? Atiku, we know that is, in fact, ask Baba will tell you who Atiku be. What are we doing to ourselves? Now, what would have happened is, as the opposition begins to grow, the government begin to have that little bit of checks and balances. There are voices, alternative voices that help to shape society. Look at what happened during the Christmas period. The last Christmas in my community, as APC were bringing 1 bag of rice, PDP brought 2, and APC brought another 2. You see, at the end of the day, they were trying to appeal to the common man. But if the government is now one, we are in trouble. We will be in bigger trouble because they don't care now. They will care less then. And anybody that helped us to destroy that is Baba Tinubu. He's guilty. He has successfully scared them away. You're not going to blame him. Look at Yahya Bello. The criminal of the year is now going to get an award. The #1 criminal in Nigeria today is going to receive an award, thanks to Yahya Bello. Of course, when you see what happened in Rivers State, it's a democratically elected government being kicked out of office. The guy is scared now. He's going to apologize. Baba, I'm loyal. So he can come back to his seat. But this is happening at the detriment of one thing. Nigeria is dying.
He's already succumbing to their pressure.
Yes.
Kubara is already succumbing to their pressure.
They play the game. It's working for them. We're dying. That's why I say, let's cry for Nigeria. We don't need to pray. We need to be crying for Nigeria. This is a call for help.
What about the present governor of Delta State? What about the present governor? Has he not defected as well? Is he only?
Yes,
Is
the
he
present governor is that one. That one is following Okowa. Okowa, anywhere Okowa go, they go.
Because even his
And
own
in
news,
fact,
I was
you know the
seeing.
drama was going to happen. Mary, you know the drama. This is what's going to happen. Ibori had the issue with Okowa all this while. Now, Okowa is now come back to Ibori camp. The language they use this morning is that they've come to take over APC. That's
So
the
tell
language.
me
So
why
are you
2027
leaving
election
PDP
is
to
not
come and take
predictable?
over APC, or you come
So
to
who
be
is going
loyal?
to tell me that 2027 election is not predictable? It's already predictable that
It's
it is.
not.
Let's not
Mary,
try to
no.
paint it for
No, the
what it
North
is
is
not.
going to give Tinubu
It's very
trouble of his life.
predictable. Everybody's
And
already
Tinubu will be
joining
surprised.
it.
Mary, it's still not going to be a free ride for Tinubu. He's still going to get the trouble of his life. The North will give him trouble. And how many support is going to get from the North? You will get all the South, and the North will get all the North.
It will be a shameful something. If I know that they don't have credible people again, but it will be a thing of shame. Particularly still comes out again and emerge as, you understand, as another person from PDP that wants to campaign for 2027 election. Like, they need to bring another person. It must. Why must it be only him? Even if he's the richest person in that party, it doesn't just make any sense. And that's why it looks as if the party does not have any goals, does not have any objective,
Okay,
no mission.
Mary.
You can't keep
Okay,
bringing in one
Mary.
person. What's the mission of the PDP?
Yes, Mary.
You want to tell me
Mary,
that
there
everything you
there
bring
was
in Antigua,
something.
you tell me you have a mission, you have a goal. No, it's somehow, honestly.
Yes, Mary, let's take it from this way. Something historical happened yesterday, in the sense that in Nigerian politics, even in the days of Action Group and NCNC, you hear of a parliamentarian, you hear of a politician, they call it cross-carpeting, you know, crossing the carpet that divides the two political parties, you know. But we up until yesterday, I don't think we have been witnessing a situation where you are not just moving, but you are moving with all the party structure, as it were. You know, little wonder Sir Chris has had to say, ask a question from London. Are they coming in to be loyal to the structure they are coming to meet, or are they coming in to take over? So is PDP swallowing up the structure of APC in the state, or is PDP coming over to be subservient to the structure is meeting? How politically ethical is it for you to, in what in spiritual language they call collective captivity? Not just that I, Godfrey Baka, I am the campaign, but that I am the campaign with, okay, members of my family, everybody along my street, all of us, everybody in my local government, all the structure. After a 6-hour meeting, we have all agreed that we are moving. What level of political survival game is this, Engineer Marshall?
Interestingly, like I've always said, we're faced by a collection of humans who are more concerned about self-interest than collective interest. And the crisis has not started. You see, the APC have always had the credits of Delta and Akwa Ibom. They expected, and they were able to muzzle Edo through the powers of INEC. They were able to muzzle Edo. They were looking towards Delta and projecting. There was a fear projecting that Delta State and Rivers State are going to be very hard to muzzle out. Now, they played the political carrots in Rivers State using Nyesom Wike, and of course, intimidation, coercion, annihilation, finally ending in state of emergency. And now, in fact, I was expecting Rivers State to make a pronouncement of an APC state before Delta, you know, but the meetings we are still expecting that though, because the meetings they had in London,
yeah,
is an indication of where that opinion is going to be leading us to. For Delta states, there's been so much that's happened in the last couple of months, more pressing in the last couple of weeks, the last 8 weeks. You had Ned Nwoko, you had Barrister Uzum, you had so many of them decamping openly from PDP to APC. And I asked a salient question. Are they decamping because their interests were not satisfied, or because they see that something wrong is being done in the PDP? I leave them to their consciences to answer. But then, the onus lies on the electorate to understand the relevance and importance of presidential democracy. But what we are seeing is an electorate that is more like pawns on the chessboard of the political elite. Like I referenced before my opening salvo, I said 2 parallel meetings, the campus happened last week in Owa-Alero, the hometown of Okowa, and in Agbo, where you had the APC national chairman physically present. Now, I ask questions. Now that they have moved their structure to APC, will the PDP state secretariat in Asaba remain PDP state secretariat? One. Will they be allowed, because APC already had their own structure and they had early decampees who already have advantage, not people that decamped yesterday. They were already had advantage of probably having offices. With they and grudges had been transferred. They left because they were aggrieved in PDP, and now these same people that made them aggrieved are coming to their new party. Are they going?
Is that not what they call implosion?
That is what I am foreseeing, a political implosion, not just in Delta State, but in the bigger APC of Nigeria. There's going to be an implosion, because it is not the campaign is not about ideology. The campaign is about selfish interests. Now, when you have done this, what about your supporters? They are saying they have carried. And when I hear people, I'm so pained with the kind of electorate that we have. They were saying yesterday the song, anywhere our leader go, now we they go. I mean, if it's going to hell, you will go to hell. If it's going to Armageddon, you go to Armageddon. It so pained me in my spirit when I saw big men behaving like children because of pegs of the office. No integrity, no forthrightness, no reliability, no content. It's all a clear indication that they are all liars from the pit of hell. And my heart wishes for the kind of democracy that we practice. Democracy that is not responsive, democracy that cannot be countered, democracy that is anarchic, democracy that comes with pains, democracy that only one voice must be followed. I wish Fela was alive now. I wonder the kind of music he would have played, even in his grave. What he's playing.
Yeah, I didn't know you also followed with that. Well, I received a few flyers. Anywhere, about 2027, anywhere our leader go, Nadia will go. You know. So, but Mary, are you bothered by the implication of lack of formidable, credible opposition, especially when you know the implication of that in a democracy where we need to treasure divergences of views and see how we can harmonize them towards a society that will function better for the interest of the people? What are the dangers you are seeing ahead?
The dangers I'm seeing ahead as regards this current happenings is even in the future, because what about people that are looking up to these people? You understand? And look at the kind of attitude they are portraying, attitude of selfishness. These people, you really cannot trust them, because there's one thing they say, that anywhere belle face and where you go face. You understand? So they just want to be where they can gain, where they can eat from. So, and there's this thing that is supposed to always we're always supposed to see in every this thing government. There's supposed to be this thing opposition parties, right? That will always want to oppose what the government is doing, point out the wrong things they are doing, right? To see if they can work on it. But how can we have opposition whereby people that are supposed to even oppose the present government are already joining them? So I see the effect of this in the future. because with this pattern, then there's going to be a problem, because you can't really account for credible leaders. We don't have credible leaders as it stands. Even you can't even say this is the one you know that we really, really, really stand firm, stand on their ground. No, it's not like that. So it's really, really like just what Daddy Chris said, that we should pray for Nigeria. It's worrisome. I saw it yesterday and I was so worried. And I just know that there's a problem in this country, because talking about democracy.
So
And
we'll pray, but the scriptures also say we'll watch and pray. We'll watch and pray because
yes,
faith without
it's really
work
worrying.
is
So
also
no
has its
opposition
own
party.
issue.
All the
Uh,
opposition party are not
there, there,
joining the ruling
there
party.
was a word you
The
used
problem.
that's central to what is happening now is the issue of credibility. How can we have credible leaders? The trajectory that is unfolding, the unfolding narrative is that Akpabio was once being investigated by the EFCC, and he gave himself up to the ruling party, even as a senator. He left the PDP to APC, and he was canonized to Saint Godswill Akpabio. Then the former governor of Delta State was also being investigated over what was supposed to have gone to Desopadek and all that, and it's like the process was beginning. Of course, yesterday he moved over to the ruling party. And so that from what Wike has just done by congratulating his move, that also means we are expecting to witness the canonization of Saint Otto Okowa. So where does accountability come in this? What do we say of a federal government that uses EFCC as attack dog against opposition in order to muzzle them to the ruling party, whip them in line, and at the end of the day, we are having a semblance of almost a mockery of democracy, of a one-party state where there are no opposing views and where there are no credible opposition as political party. What this trajectory, what does it tell us from the likes of Akpabio, Yahaya Bello, and now Okowa? You are being investigated today. You move over to the ruling party, and all your sins are forgiven. What are the implications of this on accountability?
The implications are not far-fetched. The implications are indicative of a regime that is not in line with international best practices. We're going to lose trust with the international community in terms of business connections and transactions. We're going to lose trust with investors because they don't trust the system. We're going to lose trust with the electorate because we have seen already that we have been made fools by the ruling oligarchs. We're going to lose trust with the integrity of our nationhood moving forward. Now, incisively, our leaders have made us to understand since yesterday, and just subsequently what is going to be happening is that it is all about their political interest more than the collective interest of Nigerians in the need for a transformative nation that will bring us to where we ought to be. And I'm looking at something, there's going to be an implication. Look, and one thing you people have not allow them to be there. They are strange bedfellows. They are going to quarrel very soon. And the quarrel is going to create an implosion. They're going to quarrel. Even as they are there right now, at the national, state, and local government, that there's going to be fight for offices. There's going to be fight for relevance. There's going to be fight. Now we first want to come APC. Waiting. Now we could get all the juicy appointments, juicy position. I know their mentality. I know the way they reason. They reason totally along the line of greed and avarice, along grabbing and grabbing and grabbing, not along giving back to the society. What happened yesterday was a show of shame. It was discriminatory, it was insulting, it was spiteful on the people of Nigeria and Delta State. I expected a credible opposition. I was looking forward to one of the best elections in 2020 PDP on one side, APC on one side, and let's see how it's going to. Even within this APC movement right now, for positions are going to be elective positions are going to be happening. There's going to be serious fights. There's going to be serious problems because even they themselves don't trust themselves. They don't love themselves. Then how much more you and I? Nobody can be like Christ because we are all mortals. But however, moving forward, what we are seeing is the movement of Nigeria into a one-state nation, and that is where our problem is going to start. We're going to lose credibility. We're going to lose if they are coming. If you are telling me people that have been so indicted along financial crimes and economic crimes, when they come to the ruling party, I mean, what are we practicing? A certain Zuma, president of the South Africa, for stealing $5 million, 5 million, waiting Nigerian politicians say they brushed it for stealing $5 million. He went to jail in South Africa. He was prosecuted after. The president of I think Indonesia or so, one of these Asian countries, went to jail after their tenure. But Nigeria, you can never go to jail if you know how to play the politics of interest, and that is what is happening. What is happening is a coercion of political players. They are being coerced directly or indirectly or by proxy. Either you come to the ruling party or put a state of emergency in your state. And we're supposed to be fighting insecurity. Look at our state Delta. Look at the Nigeria. We're supposed to be fighting insecurity, hunger in the land, and all that. All they are so concerned about is 2027 and the road leading to 2027. God, in His infinite mercy, needs to come down and heal this land, because what we are seeing today is not what we planned for.
Thank you so very much. So, Mary, can we consider this situation where, a people in an election, gave you their mandate on the ticket of a political platform? Let's say in Delta State now, the people of Delta State voted overwhelmingly for PDP. And that was what led to the emergence of Elder Sheriff Oborowori as the governor. Why? Because they were voting for the manifesto of PDP, which they want to be duly implemented in Delta State. So beyond voting for Oborowori as a person, they were voting for PDP. And why were they voting for PDP? The ideological slant of PDP, the manifesto of PDP, as against that of APC. Now, mid-tenure, you come and say, I am moving, and I'm moving my structures, and I'm aligning with another manifesto. What is expected from...
Sorry, Mr. Abuka, was there a
what
structure?
happens to that mandate? What happens to that mandate that was secured on the platform of PDP? What happens to that mandate? Can you speak to us from Abuja, please?
That is why all these things leads to poor party performance. Just like what Engineer Mishak said. Now that you defected to a new party, before you gain ground in that party, it's going to take a lot of time, because you cannot come and overthrow people that are there already, right? So I believe if you had your structures in your other party, you had policies that you put in place, right, in your other party, but now you have defected. You are now trying to see how you can understand yourself after leaving the one you already have to a new one. So it's just like when you jump from primary 1 to primary 2, to some extent you'll be so confused, you will not know what you need to do at that time, because of that confusion that you've put yourself into. So this thing has a lot of negative effects. Why it has a lot of negative effects is this. Now, just like what he said also, it has already killed that trust. The people of Delta State are interested in you, right? That you can do this thing, you can actually deliver. And now you are leaving. I said you can deliver in PDP, you are leaving to APC when you don't even know what they are doing there in APC. You just want to go there because of your own selfish interest. So it's a problem. It's really alarming. And this thing you see them doing, that is another cause of corruption in the country. Because what they are doing right now, let's not paint it, is high rate of corruption. This is corruption. If our leaders can be corrupted, so what about the people that are looking up to them? That's why I say the problem that I'm seeing is in the future. Because every other person that is under them will want to still do what they are doing. And that is why the corruption will continue to increase day by day. You cannot just cross carpet. I know we have a lot of leaders that have left PDP to APC. All Jews Okalu did that one now, so it's not a new thing. A whole lot of them had to leave PDP to APC. You can't trust these people. Just like I said, it is still because of this thing they are doing. That is why today will come out and say we cannot trust this thing, politicians. You understand? And this thing still leads to lack of internal democracy. Because if
Safred
within the
just
party, you say what?
yes, Safred just reporting. Well, Engineer Mishak calls him executive producer. So he reporting what's more of a news break. That is the formal response of PDP, formal reaction of PDP concerning what happened yesterday, the defection and the movement of the PDP structure in Delta State to that of APC. So there is somebody, I think is a party official of PDP, that is officially responding to that. He said this is one of the most painful decisions taken by any governor in Nigerian history. So it wasn't just a yesterday event, it's a historic event.
Yeah.
So when the history of the democratic evolution of Nigeria is being written, this will constitute a very critical chapter. That this is one of the most painful decisions taken by any governor in Nigerian's history. This is Ibrahim Abdullahi. He says the People Democratic Party PDP has condemned the defection of Delta State Governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowore, to the APC, describing the move as a betrayal, lacking integrity and justification. Lacking integrity and justification. It's one thing for a governor to have decided that I just slept and woke up and realized that the other party holds brighter prospects, so I joined that party. But for you to move the entire structure, there was something that happened in somewhere in Owara. The former, a one-time democratically elected governor of Delta State, Ibori, the daughter, a member of the National Assembly, defected, and being that she had played a critical role in the secretariat of PDP, called people who were painters, and they bought paint and they started repainting the party secretariat to that of APC, because she had moved. But PDP in the state reacted so strongly to it that she was the one who moved. And that secretariat was a PDP secretariat and remained PDP secretariat. That having moved, she should go and look for a secretariat where the APC will be operating from. And there was a very strong reaction to it. But it's just a question of months. Here we are. I want to think that painters in Delta State should be having a field day already, because they must have bought the paints of APC, the color of APC, and repainting all the PDP party secretariats into that of APC color. Does that in any way tell us that where we are going to, has an assurance of democracy? Or are we witnessing the very last days of democracy? When Mr. Chris came on the program, he made mention of the fact that the North is going to give Tinubu a very, very great fight. So what does this hold for the future? Mary, please.
The truth is, whether we like it or not, you see this thing that happened in Delta State, the way I see it, right? It tends to make a caricature of the democracy, you understand, and belittles the spirit of opposition parties and democratic and consolidation of the people of Delta State. That is just the truth, you understand? Because in as much as there's no way I ever expected that this kind of thing will happen. Even if Okowa had defected, I felt like the present governor would have still stayed. But I was so surprised that he joined as well. So it means he's just following anything that one is doing, right? So does it mean that one is the one directing him on what he's doing? Is it that one that is telling
in any way implying, are you in any way implying that there were no consultations from the world level? Are you in any way implying that the leaders of the party, as it were, usurped the people's power and made this pronouncement? Are you in any way saying that there were no consultations, there were no meetings at the world level, and the world, they said, and agreed and came to a consensus? We are shifting. Are you in any way saying there were no meetings held at the local government level?
There were no meetings.
Are you in any way saying there
No
were no
meetings were
meetings
held.
held from the world down
It
to
was-
Asaba?
they took a decision.
So it was taken at the top,
And you
No.
must follow. If you
and
don't
you now
I think I'm
everybody
right.
file
I
behind.
mean, I'm afraid I felt like whether or not you like it, there must be meeting, internal meeting. You understand? Between these people. They did not just stand up and defect. So why will you think of that if not that they have concluded in one way or the other? It must have been planned and agreed upon before you do that.
Politics of Delta State is
They
very
did not just stand
dynamic.
up and made that decision.
Even the local government chairman, they didn't have an idea. They have the meeting, the agreement has been reached at an executive level. So those are foot soldiers. The world level, the local government level, they're foot soldiers. If you listen to their responses yesterday, anywhere Boriwori go, now there we go. You were sure that at that time they were not even sure. Before they became sure, their own interest is what they are after. They don't care about you. They want to secure the SSAs. The political appointees want their job to be secured. The 25 council, after he declared, he had a closed-door meeting with the 25 council chairman. That was when he told them why he's declaring. On a Monday, we officially tell Deltans and Nigerians. So you see, it's a scripted narrative from the players, the gladiators. There were consultations. Ibori had already left. Ned Nwoko and so many.
Sorry to cut you. If I must understand the question Mr. Baka asked. Is it that they just stood up and decided on this, or I think he was asking if they really had a meeting? Personally, I felt like they had a meeting. We did not stand up and decide to
us. We are not saying yes. I'm trying to make you understand. Meetings have been going on, but not to the knowledge of the so-called those they call themselves politicians at the grassroots level, talking about maybe world level, local government level. No, the meetings that were going on are the power brokers within the PDP in Delta State that have been having meetings with those that have even decamped already. And of course, the godfathers, the likes of the first chairman, Senator James Manager, the likes of the present chairman, the likes of James Ibori, the likes of Amori, some political players, they have been having meetings. When you're talking, even the 25 council local government, the House of Assembly members didn't know. They only knew yesterday when they decided to officially open up to them and give them reasons why it should be a collective defection, not an isolated defection. Collectively, we will secure our jobs. We will all be able to propagate, to remain here till 20. They are not thinking of you and I. It is how to make them richer, how to make them financially more, how to protect their jobs. They are more concerned about than how to develop this country and secure our land.
Engineer, I have my worries. My worries, they stem from the fact that since 1999, Delta State has been traditionally PDP. And that includes the market women that are out there with the PDP wrapper that they are tying. With the umbrella in there. So there is a tradition, there has been a tradition, an entrenched tradition of the PDP. So what Mary is telling us from Abuja is that she is seriously of the opinion that there must have been meetings trickled down from bottom top, that these women that have this wrapper of the umbrella, that they need to be told why that they should change that wrapper now to that of a broom. And that is a decision that they should have a buy-in. So from there to the world, that's the ward and the local government and House of Assembly, so that the democracy we are talking about should be from bottom top. Because there is a danger in the democracy that is like a house built from the roof. You first finish the roof before you start coming down. And how do you ensure a firm foundation? And so Mary is insisting that this kind of meetings must have held. But Shadrach appears to be more on ground and is saying that there were no such consultations. That rather it was a meeting.
How is it possible that there was no meeting?
Made at the top. That the decision taken and made to trickle down. Is that not democratically dangerous?
How is it possible? Are they people that you don't know?
You are not in Delta State. It is very, very possible. Understand
so
what I have said.
Really?
Listen, listen. They are not, you and I are not relevant in the scheme of things. The word,
okay.
Look, a lot of people that call themselves politicians are not politicians. They are just bootlickers. They are foot soldiers that are there. Wherever the tide blows them, they go. The politicians are greedy. And when politicians I'm talking about, there are a few. Even most of them in the executive did not know how this thing was happening. Now it is the political godfathers. Delta State is so organized in that structure. The political godfathers, they are seen well. Let me tell you what the PDP said. Now, if the PDP had remained an opposition in Delta State, Obori would have lost 2027. He would have lost 2027 with the extras.
The three senators had already moved.
You understand? He would have lost 2027.
So was he playing APC, a survivor game?
Yes. APC is beginning to gain grants here. Besides,
okay, Engineer Mishan.
Power for this from the
okay, should I say, are they still going to come back? Are they still going to come back one day to PDP? Will they see the effect? Maybe after the APC winning and everything. Is it possible that they will see the effect to PDP? I'm asking, is it possible that maybe after all the winnings from APC, is it possible that they will see the effect to PDP someday?
You will believe our politicians will go to anywhere their interest is satisfied. Look, there's going to be an implosion.
If Rufai can go to SDP, anything can happen.
Mark this day that I'm telling you. They will see, look, we have political prostitutes. These are people that don't have ideology about the trajectory of what this. Ask them, okay, go on the Vox Pop today. Ask them, why did you decamp? They will say, I become my Ogadi. 98% will tell because my Ogadi decamp. Ask them.
They're not decisive at all.
Yes, there was something Ubaka said. PDP, they have a manifesto, right? They have an ideology coming towards, coming in Delta State, for example, coming into power. Now, in the middle of your 4-year tenure, you have defected to APC. Are you not going to throw the PDP ideology and not carry APC ideology?
That's my worry, Engineer Mishak.
More agenda.
That's my worry.
It will not be renewed hope agenda. Look, our politicians are just.
What manifestos will we now be implementing in Delta State? What manifestos will we now be implementing in Delta State? That happens to be a concern, you know. I think it's on. Yes, Mary, you there's something you have to say concerning that, on the dangers ahead, especially as the people were not carried along, because you had expected that it must have been a consensus, you know, with meetings held at the various level. But from the analysis we've had this morning, it's a survival, a decision that was taken benchmarked on survivalism. Yes, the former governor has to survive so that with the decision of yesterday, EFCC will no longer invite him again. So we now see from somebody they were investigating, we now see you know, the canonization of Saint Otto. You know, it becomes a saint. Just the same way we have Saint Akpabio. You know, so that's how
Saint Yahaya.
Yahaya. That's how we have saints in Nigeria. You emerge into sainthood when you join the ruling party. And the sitting governor had also read the, you know, what you call a reality check. He has done a reality check and found out that with the 3 senators in the state, none being with him, and with the indication of his political godfather moving to APC, and the current move by Vice President Atiku Abubakar, who wants to take the APC, the PDP into a coalition without due consultation to the stakeholders in PDP. You remember Bode George has also cried out that Atiku is behaving as if PDP is his own private estate. And so some of these moves, don't forget that we have never seen Otto Ifeanyi Okowa in any public appearance with Atiku since after the two of them ran for a joint ticket election. So now in a PDP meeting where PDP is to be taken into a larger coalition, what role do you expect Ifeanyi Okowa to be playing, where it is being speculated that Atiku is gunning for one tenure with Peter Obi as his vice president, and for him now to hand over to Peter Obi if that coalition succeeds in booting out Tinubu out of power. So this happened to be the political dynamics playing out, but none of them, unfortunately so, is in the interest of the Nigerian people. Rather, they are all in the interest of the political stakeholders, the ruling class, as it were. So it's on that note that we want to go on a mid-section break now. And when we come back, we'll still reflect a bit on this issue and take on the papers for the day. Because in looking at the papers, we should be able to also know the mood of the nation. So thank you so very much, Mary in Abuja. We do hope that in that newspaper section, just like Daddy Chris did join us, he will also be part of that section. See you at the other end of the program.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than SRTV Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. SRTV goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your SRTV Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience. You can reach us by calling this number 070-6237-9915 or 080-7082-7331.
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26th, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text +447 438 893 190 or 080 330 46768 or +447 459 071 747. Visit our website superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week London 2025. Nigeria Week London 2025, celebrating the best of Nigeria, is partnered with Civil Society, scaling up nutrition in Nigeria. Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London 2025 is coming to Hippodrome Theatre from July 24th to 26th, 2025, showcasing the best in Nigerian arts, music, fashion, and investment opportunities. Whether you're looking to discover the future of real estate, explore Nigeria's culinary masterpieces, or get immersed in an electric Afrobeat performance, this is the event of the year. You can also join us for a film festival, cultural dance spectacles, and the recognition awards. Don't miss out on the business opportunities and cultural experiences waiting for you. Book your tickets now before they're gone on eventbrite.co.uk. Call or text +447 438 893 190 or 080 330 46768 or +447 459 071 747. Visit our website superiorradioandtelevision.com. Nigeria Week London 2025. Nigeria Week London 2025, celebrating the best of Nigeria, is partnered with Civil Society, scaling up nutrition in Nigeria.
Yeah, welcome back, and thank you so very much, most sincerely, for spending time with us. We've been reaching you from SRTV studio, both in London, Abuja, and of course, Delta State. And in the past 1 hour, we've tried to x-ray the, some people say it was a political volcano, some say it was a political tsunami that did happen yesterday in Delta State, with the immediate past governor of Delta State and a vice presidential candidate in 2023 election in the person of Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, defecting alongside the incumbent governor and all the party executive and 25 local government chairmen and the entire structure into APC. We've been trying to find out what could have led to this kind of historic political development. What does it portend both for the state and the evolution of democracy in Nigeria? Could it have been in any way linked with issue of self-preservation, political self-preservation? What was the extent of consultation taken with the electorate before this? Have we seen the end to it? With the recent pronouncement of the likes of the governor of Akwa Ibom State in a flag off of a project in his state, where he said that come 2027, that himself and the people of his state will be filing behind the political aspiration of Governor Tinubu. There are also speculations that even in the Southeast, some more governors will file. Are we getting back to a trajectory of pre-1914, where you had the North and the South? What does this what does it portend for our politics? We expected that you will be assessing the Tinubu administration based on the reform is carrying out. How does it affect our economy? How has it made the educational institution better? How has it provided job for our people? How is it securing us in terms of security? And not really or entirely based on that he's a Southerner. Because he's a Southerner, wherever he goes, let us all follow him. And that the North is meeting. For as long as we are not looking at Nigeria as one political entity and how we can make the future of this nation better using democracy as a pivot, for as long as we are looking at us and them, then for that long we will continue to make certain steps that might not take us to the desired political promised land.
Thank you very much. I want to celebrate two men, two very wonderful Nigerians. I call them wonderful. I don't like them. They're not my friends. I've never liked them. I've never liked politicians. But I celebrate their ingenuity and creativity because they are making these things possible. If you undermine them, they are like banana peels. the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is a game changer. He knows he's a true grassroots politics. He knows how to play politics. He's a great man. He understands the intricacies of the political genealogy of our nation. I give him kudos for that. Then number two, Nyesom Wike, great man, great manipulator, fearless investor in ideology, and is a great fighter. Look, these two men, why am I giving them credit? Where millions of Nigerians have looked foolish, not Nigerians in quote, millions of politicians have looked foolish. They have looked incognito. These two men stood firm, sat down, looked, x-rayed the mindsets of the average Nigerian political elite and saw their need. We saw that the greatest thing they fear most is fear. They knew that the politicians had fear. They put fear into these politicians using the institutions. And the moment the fear came in, they gave them an option. It's either you are with us or this fear which you have already about this thing will swallow you. But if you come with us, you don't have any problem. And that's what just transformed.
Please, could you address how that has helped to advance our democracy?
That is where I'm going to. It has disadvantaged our democracy. It has created a disadvantage for us. There's never any way advanced. Democracy is supposed to come with checks and balances. It has helped to weaken our institutions. It has helped to weaken our belief mindset. It has helped to reduce democracy in the eyes of the national community. And we see that yesterday, I have never wept about democracy since 1999 like I wept in my heart yesterday. That I saw men, big name politicians in Delta State, behaving like small children, singing. They can't sing hymns in church. They can't sing wherever. They can't praise God. Even when they are taking oath of, they can't really be so vociferous like they were yesterday. Anywhere of I blinked my eyes. I said, what a shame. Is this hunger? Is this impunity? Is this children's father? This is people's parents, political leaders behaving like people that have been fed crumbs. Look at what greed and avarice, selfish interests have turned them to. But then, APC is the winner. Asiwaju is the winner. He's still in front. He's not shaking. He has put structures on ground to make sure these things. Look, there is nobody in PDP that will not be disappointed with what happened in Delta State yesterday. I mean, that is voluntary surrender without confrontation. It's just they are going for a match without even kicking the ball. You say, let's give them 3 points and 3 goals without even trying. And that was what happened. And we are celebrating. I've never, look, let me tell you, the politician will never help you. I've never begged the politician. They know. And I will say it because instead of helping me, help the local society. Build roads, create infrastructure. You only make yourself relevant when we're building time to election. Then you start sharing. And our people, I'm ashamed of our people. The gullibility of the political language is scripted in their minds that anything politicians say, they take it hook, line, and sinker. And where are we today? You are going to see. You made one statement. There's going to be an implosion. And I quote along that line. Because Nami first you become. I came to APC before you. And I left PDP because I was agreed with your actions in PDP. Most of you have mocked up. Most of you have insulted those that left, and now you have come to meet us where we hold sway. So much banana peels. Look, this is what I call the relationship that will not last. They are strange bedfellows. They are going to only, the moment after 2027 election, Tinubu has won. Let me tell you, APC will start breaking. And that if he wins, now look at where there's going to be a problem about that. The coalition will still come in. Now, the North has blocked, but look, North are more politically sound than Southerners. They have the political ideology better than us. They have the numerical strength. Might win all the southern states. APC take all the southern states. Northern states, they will win everything. So it is not yet to Uhuru. It's all about interest. But I do not blame Sheriff for what he did. Let me tell you why I do not blame. Politics is all about interest. And Sheriff would have lost 2027 election if he had remained in PDP. Definitely would have lost. With what I have seen, with interactions I've had with people that have defected to APC that I know, and with what I am following on news and print and electronic media, he would have lost. Even with people who would have betrayed, more people would have come to the APC before that time. And now we are faced with the reality. He's going to win his election back because he has come to the APC. Now, if he had not come to the APC, APC would simply have fielded the candidate that would have had spent. Omar Agege may have come back, and you know, Ibori is supporting. I saw a picture of them. Ibori is supporting that line now. Omar Agege would have come back. But now, he's going for voluntarily carrying your structure. Look at politics is just interest. For voluntarily carrying your structure from that's the PDP structure in Delta State and even APC. The APC will not tell Omar Agege, look, we'll make you ambassador to the United States. They will give him an offer he can't refuse. Like James Hadley says, there's always a price. Every man has a price tag. We'll make you ambassador to the UK or United States. Let this man, he came to our party with his structure. We have taken Delta State. Let him go back for his second term. You understand?
Okay. So, Mary, we hope you're still on, please. If you were in Delta and you are a committed party woman, as it were, and you are a card-carrying member of the PDP, and you feel convinced about the PDP ideology, and you feel emboldened by the fact that Delta had been a traditionally PDP state since 1999, and you feel that you are not part of this structure to be moved hook, line, and sinker to APC, what are the rebuilding options that will be available to you? What are the rebuilding options that will be available to you on how you can rebuild the PDP in Delta State and possibly field a candidate and see how you can make a political statement that Delta belongs to PDP?
Okay, just like what Engineer Mishak said earlier, that if the present governor did not decamp to APC, there is every possibility that he would have lost. You understand? For 2027. But if it was like in that system whereby we had that credibility, that accountability, that okay, I'm in this party, I see no reason for leaving this party, right? And I believe I'm going to still make it if I remain here. Then there are policies that I'll put in place, structures, right? And also I'll make sure I bring the people of Delta State, just like you said, is a PDP state. Bring them close and make them understand why they need to be strong, why they need to be committed, right, to this party, and see how we can get back to power, how we can remain right in that same position that we are as PDP. I believe if the governor has the support of the people of Delta State, even that 2027, there's no way he will lose. But it's because, just like you said, you can't really trust these people. You don't know who will end up betraying him. Can you really say that if they are together as people of People Democratic Party, nobody will come up tomorrow and betray him and make him lose their trust? We don't want to continue in that form. We don't want to be sincere and committed to the party. That okay, let's work towards how PDP can win and remain a well-recognized party in this thing, in Delta State. So what if some of the political party member, you understand, end up betraying the governor? That's another thing. But I believe that if it was in a situation whereby they can work together, definitely they will get it and they'll still remain, and PDP will still remain one of the most recognized party there in Asaba. That's my take on it.
Okay, thank you so very much. Of course, we do know the political relationship between Nyesom Wike and Ifeanyi Okowa. We have here an update on Nyesom Wike reacting to Nyesom Wike response to Ifeanyi Okowa's defection from PDP to APC. He says the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has declared that the defection of former Delta State Governor and 2023 People's Democratic Party PDP vice presidential candidate Dr. Ifeanyi Otokowa to the APC is a validation of his political choices in the last general election. That means Wike is a visionary. He first saw it. He saw the road, that is only APC that has the renewed hope and has the light, and that Ifeanyi Okowa is just seeing that road. So he has come to join them. That's an interesting development, and the worrisome development is that these are people who, from their political choices, are apparently detached from the reality on ground. That is the fact that Nigerians are clamoring for true democracy, because it's only true democracy that can create the right developmental impact that can make us to be reckoned with in nations of the world. Otherwise, with the way things are going now, Nigeria's democracy is almost becoming a laughing stock, that somebody will sleep today as a PDP member, wake up the next morning, and having held some meetings overnight, they move the entire structure and collapse the entire structure of a party and align it or make it part of another one. Not for the overriding interest of the public, but for some political self-preservation moves. So I think it's on that note that we want to move over to the papers for the day. The papers for the day. Mary, could you run that from Abuja? The papers for the day. Maybe we could start off from Punch. The major headlines in the papers for the day. Mary.
Okay, the big story on the Punch. We have 2027 power shift. Opposition weakens as more PDP governors, senators eye APC. Delta Governor Okowa, Osun Jigawa, PDP chieftains order defect to APC. PDP, Bode George attacks Tinubu.
I've been talking about that's what we have been discussing in the past couple of minutes or so. So are there other major news highlights in Punch?
Okay, we have INEC move to legalize voting without PVC, and there's still this story on the Punch. Say Lagos local government chairman.
The major thing Nigerians will want to hear about INEC is about how they can improve on their credibility. You know, there is this preface before it's an independent National Electoral Commission. That's INEC. That I appears not to play in any role, because from all intents and purposes, they are not independent. It operates like a parastatal and an extension of the ruling party, and that is why they can hardly deliver on any election. You know, every day Nigerians remember Humphrey Nwosu. It's a tragedy that he died the way he died. It's also a greater tragedy to Nigerian political evolution that even the National Assembly refused to rename INEC after him, saying that they don't want to reward efforts, that he didn't announce the result, forgetting that that was a man that operated under a military regime, and he had the gun on his head, and he was stopped from announcing the result. And at the end of the day, the result has been made public. And the process he brought in came up with a whole lot of credibility. And that happened historically to be the only election era we had that happened to be credible. But today we have an INEC that is telling you of how people can vote with or without PVC, how people in the diaspora can vote. Oh, yes. But at the end of the day, we vote billions to them. And at the end of the day, it appears the results. Look at what happened in Ondo. Look at what happened in Edo. And it is the disposition of INEC that is also responsible for the decision of what happened yesterday in Delta State. Because even when the governor knows that Delta is traditionally and predominantly PDP, when the umpire, INEC, on its own, is not ready to deliver on a credible election, free and fair election. And you know that is what the presidency asked them to announce, that they will announce. You see the kind of moves of self-preservation. No matter how I campaign, no matter how the people come out and vote, the people's vote will not count. We want to hear from INEC, when will the vote of Nigerians count in a free and fair election, so that the billions, getting into trillions now, that is voted for election cycles, do not end up being a total waste. That's what we want to hear, and not necessarily how people can vote with or without. You say Vivas is working, they vote with PVC, or
they vote, even if they vote without a PVC, is that what we make us understand that they are credible in their job? Does that amount to credibility or accountability? That's another thing that we need to.
Okay.
So that one is just fallacy. They're just bringing up stories. So we have
maybe killings. You can take us through Vanguard.
Okay, so I should leave the punch, right?
Yes, let's go to Vanguard, please.
2027. Tinubu tightens grip on South-East, South-South in gale of defections. And the
are you following with that? Yeah. It's a 2027. Tinubu tightens grip on South-East, South-West. South-South in gale of defection. That is to say that while the Plateau and Benue killings were going on, and while many states could not account for the whereabouts of their governors, the governors were holding meeting with President Tinubu in London. And now, after the midterm reflection we were told that he went to have to re-strategize, we are now seeing how 2027 is the focus, and how a number of the governors, especially from Southeast and South-South, are defecting to the APC political bloc. So what's your take on that?
We've said it all. I mean, like I did say earlier, well, democracy has been structured, patterned in such a way that it's going to implode very soon. And I'm sorry to say this, but it might happen. If we're not careful, the military might come in back to power. Because with what we're seeing now...
Is that a prediction?
As if we are not careful. Because the kind of democracy we practice is not different from military regime. It's like a state of anarchy. And like I said, Tinubu is an extraordinary strategist. He's a game changer, he's a game player. He knows what he wants, and he goes for what he wants. He doesn't care who else is God. He doesn't care how much he spends. He does everything and anything to achieve his objective, and that is what I'm proud of him for. But moving forward, I think that is not the template, the kind of democracy he fought for as a Nadeko chieftain while he was in exile. I mean, he talked about, I used to love him so much, but now, I mean, the style of democracy is cohesive, and of course, it's aggressive, and it's intimidating, and it's blackmailing, and that is not good for our democracy. But more in the next 2 weeks, believe what I am telling you, before May 29th, we're going to have less than 5 PDP governors left in Nigeria. Less than 5. Majority of them would have decamped to APC for their interest's sake.
Okay, that's another prediction. Mary, still in Vanguard, towards the bottom, we have end allowances. FG releases 50 billion to ASU orders. And allowances.
ASU denied it now, so we don't know who is being truthful here. That is what we saw in the news. But ASU have not actually
allowances. FG releases. FG says they have released 50 billion to ASU. It's one thing for FG to release. It's another thing for ASU to acknowledge that they have received. But if this turns out to be true, what does it portend to our having a stable academic calendar? Because we see that over and over, ASU has had to break the academic calendar, making undergraduates and even people at the postgraduate level to spend double the time they are supposed to spend for a program. So if FG has been able to do this 50 billion for end allowances. Is that some level of guarantee that our academic calendar will be a lot more stable now than it used to be? Mary, are you still there?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you come again?
What does this
Hello,
portend? End allowances, FG releases 50 billion. If it turns out to be true, are we expecting to have a more stable academic calendar in our tertiary institutions?
Sure, we are, but how long? How long will it take? That's another thing. They have been paying us now, and they have been coming back, and they are still going on strike. So, but how long will the stable calendar stay? That's another thing. I think they should start thinking of how they can make money on their own, because after, if this money elapses, they'll still come up again and say they are not being paid, and they will go again. How long will the stable calendar stay? That is it. Yes, you can have a stable calendar. The academic session will be successful and all of that. But for how long? That should be the question.
Yeah, your take on that is quite instructive. That beyond the 50 billion that federal government is releasing, that our tertiary institutions should have creative edge and see how they can be more resourceful and see how they can be self-sustaining. Because some of us, our understanding of university autonomy is beyond you deciding who should be your vice chancellor. You should be able to be autonomous in fund generation. You should be autonomous in, in self-sustainability, and not just autonomy in emergence of a VC, but you are always going cap in hand to the federal government. I mean, the tertiary institutions should be a lot more creative in seeing how they can generate a fund. Are you in line with that?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality on ground. We've talked about it a lot of times on our programs here. The need for tertiary institutions to become self-autonomous in areas, especially in areas of strength. I don't see why tertiary institutions should not have dairy farms, should not be able to export cassava, should not be able to, to grow rice, should not be able to produce tinned tomatoes, to sell, to export tomatoes. The agricultural department, I don't see why they should not be able to generate their own power. I don't see why they should not be able to have a zoological garden. And so many, I don't see why they should not have a poultry or a piggery. I mean, even colleges of agriculture do not have piggeries, do not have poultry. Some of them, majority of them. So I think indigenization and of course autonomy is created by leadership. Leadership is equally a problem. When the same lecturers, professors, vice chancellors are aiding and abetting election corruption and malpractice, and you feel the people you aid and abet into office are the same people that have been, since I was in the university till date, we've been fighting ASU strike till date. I keep asking, is it the same regenerative problem? But it's an unfortunate situation. I think the 50 billion released, it is not for their pocket. It's a lot of things we're making them agitate. Grants, they're looking for research grants, improve infrastructure. Majority of the PhD holders we have, all these politicians that go to get PhD, they buy it, they don't have it, they don't have anything inside. They just, because you see them every day in the political climb. When did they, before you look, they have gotten masters. Before you look, 2-3 years, they have gotten PhD. How, when, where? Call them what research? Because so PhD is a research degree. So you should be able to impact. Most of them cannot communicate. We write speech for them. They cannot communicate, but they call themselves honorables. How dishonorable is that word turned honorable to Nigeria? Nigerians have so reduced that word to mediocrity. Even the driver of driving a house member will call himself honorable driver. The gateman will call himself honorable. We have reduced democracy to the abyss of mediocrity in this country.
Okay, so still looking at Vanguard, top right hand of the paper, anti-party activities. Atiku Wike should leave PDP immediately. This is Bode George, one of the founding fathers of PDP. He says, on the grounds of anti-party activities, Atiku Wike should leave PDP immediately. Mary, the state of PDP now, Do you think they are, some say they are in disarray? Do you think they have that cohesion to expel Atiku and Wike immediately, the way Bode George is saying? Mary, are we still with you?
The question should be, are there still powerful men?
Now, PDP is empty.
Are there still powerful men?
PDP.
The only person we are seeing there now should be Atiku, or probably the other one that is always supporting him. If I'm right, what's that his name? The Instagram. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name. He's always on Instagram, always fighting for Atiku. I think Dino Malari,
Okay.
right? So the thing is, how many men do we have that can stand these people? They don't have. They are not people in PDP again. So that's it.
So what you're saying is that Bode George's position has come a bit too late.
Sure.
Because that is the step they would have taken before these men's actions destroyed the party. Then we also have
more people are still going to leave. How many people will still remain in PDP? And that's the question. How many people are still going to remain there? It's really sad.
Well, traditionally, we see Edu here, Edu woos international investors. And we have a way of asking international investors, the world is already a global stage. If they know what is happening in Benue, they know what is happening in Borno, and they know what is happening our democracy cannot be predicted, because we prepare for elections as if we are preparing for war. So 2 years away from 2027, the way we are preparing from it, some investors who are here are already divesting, taking their things to more predictable political climes, and so you find out that they are monitoring what is happening. And if you put your home in order, the investors will naturally come, because God has blessed us with the market, the biggest market in Africa, with the climate and the rest. But here we are, we fail to do what we ought to do, and we keep wooing investors. Edu woos international investors. Are there some other papers there you can take us through? What is Guardian saying for today, please?
Okay, let me see the Guardian.
It's a hurdles for opposition parties as APC wins more governors and others. That is so that is the event of yesterday determined the lead stories in all the papers, local, regional, and national newspapers. Are there some other headlines you can take us through in Guardian?
Okay, we have Lagos has shortfall of 66,000 doctors, nurses, says. Oh my God, says the government, and that's on page 5. So we have
that Lagos has shortfall of 66,000 doctors, nurses,
yes,
says government. And it's not that we are not training enough doctors. We are training doctors. And if the doctors we are training are practicing in this country, by now we should be approaching the World Health Organization ratio of population per doctor. But we train them, every doctor that is practicing in Nigeria, or let me not fall into the fallacy of overgeneralization. Most of the doctors that are practicing are looking forward to the day they will do an online interview and land a job in UK or anywhere in Europe, and they travel on a Saturday, rest on a Sunday. By Monday morning, they are in a health facility in their new country, and they are practicing. And so you find out that because we have not, they are poorly remunerated. Even of late, the issue of insecurity, because they are picking some of them. And our hospital facilities are not patient care centered. They are obsolete. Some of the wards are just like, you begin to wonder, will somebody stay here and not be infested with some other sickness? You know, for as long as we are in that, we may continue to train doctors that will continue to be taken out to go and serve people in other countries. And the implication of that is that the life expectancy in developed nations is climbing from 70 to 80 something. And most of our health personnel here who go there are caregivers, while the life expectancy in this climb is dropping from 65 to 57. The last check showed 57. You understand? That is to say that if you are living above 60, it's like you are even already doing extra time, because the caregivers, the care facilities are not exactly there. So we should see how we can make our health sector to be better. I think it was Fred Odo that once on this program advised that we should declare a state of emergency even in the health sector, so that we address such issues, because it's about life, it's about health, and health is wealth. But a situation where you expect your citizens to be productive, meanwhile they are not healthy, then of course there is a lacuna in that section. Mary, we are expecting you to take us through the other headlines, please.
Okay, so still on the Guardian, right? Or I should change to another paper?
Yeah, the choice is yours.
Okay, so we have ECOWAS to relocate institutions from Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, and that story is on page 2. World Health Organization to downsize operations amid major funding cuts on page 4. So still on the Guardian, we have insecurity. Tinubu, security chiefs in talks. 36 governors discuss crisis in Abuja on page 6. Okay, so we have
insecurity. That is in red. Insecurity. Tinubu, security chiefs in talks. 36 governors discuss crisis, and the location is Abuja. The Nigerians are expecting. You don't vote people in to go and do talk shop. We expect that the talk should translate into action. The issue of insecurity is so central to even our economy, to investment, to our sticking together as a nation. Situation it's not sitting when you see politically motivated level of high insecurity, when communities are meant to attack other communities, and at the end of the day you say security chiefs are talking. We have had high turnover of security chiefs, yet insecurity is still with us. How long more will it take for these talks to translate into action? I think Nigerians need action with respect to insecurity.
We are not serious about needing action because
God bless you. We are not serious at all.
We are not serious about having action. But there's something I sat down to brood last night upon the serial defection of political gladiators. Something struck my mind. When most of them come to APC now, I bet you insecurity is going to reduce, because it's not a one party. We're virtually getting close to a one party state. 90% of these security challenges we're having, quote me today, most of everything I have said today, I'm saying them with inspiration. 90% of the security challenges we're having in Nigeria today are a product of our political class. And with the harmonization of interests, with the harmonization of political alignment, most of this insecurity will be nipped in the bud. Have you not noticed something that in the last 2 weeks, Rubadu went to, I made a political statement on tackling of insecurity. Besides that, I must let you know first that Delta State was going to become an APC state was already known to the APC about a month ago. That Rivers State will soon join Delta State is already known to the APC. That so many people are coming to join the APC is already in the knowledge of in fact, people are begging APC, I want to come and join, the politicians, governors, senior public officers. Now, the scenario is going to pan out like this. Now, Mr. President had a closed door. Delta State decamped yesterday. The president had a closed-door meeting yesterday, with the security chiefs, and he told them they've been having closed-door meetings, of course, with different presidents and himself inclusive. But he gave them a caveat, gave them an imposition that they must nip this insecurity in the bud. But I am of the opinion that because insecurity is a product of the political class, the harmonization and political alignment would make it easier for this insecurity to be nipped in the bud. Because I just can't imagine how these people transport themselves from the peripheral of our boundaries in the Chad Basin. They are now entered into the epicenter of the center of Nigeria in Benue, Plateau, even in the south here. It's beginning to look like a mirage.
Mary, can we look at still on Guardian, top right hand? There is a headline there: scandals.
That's true.
President won't allow Akpabio to step aside, say senators. Talking about Saint Goswill Akpabio, Senate president. Huh?
How is he a saint?
Because he crossed over from EFCC was pursuing him. He crossed over from PDP as a senator and moved to APC. So APC organized the canonization, in the Catholic tradition, and canonized him and made him a saint. So he's in the statute of sainthood now, Saint Goswill Akpabio. So that's the process of how we have saints in Nigeria. So he's a saint. Don't mind Natasha and all those claims. Saints in Nigeria can grab waist and grab chest and grab. It's part of the sainthood process.
Sainthood has become politicized.
Oh yeah, so scandal. President won't allow Akpabio to step aside, say senators. That is to say that should Saint Goswill even say that he wants to step aside for there to be a fair trial concerning the accusations, of sexual harassment on Natasha, a fellow senator, that even when he decides on his own to do that the presidency will not allow him. They won't allow him, So that tells you the relationship between the head of the executive, President Tinubu, the head of the judiciary, yes, perceived head of the judiciary, which is a Wike, and the head of the legislature, which is in the person of Goswill Akpabio, that no matter the intensity of the scandal, he will not be allowed to step aside. Perhaps we can take two more headlines as we'll
okay, let's see the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust says 2027, allow younger people to run, coming from Baba Ahmed. Tells them Tinubu. And still on the Daily Trust, we have Delta Governor Atiku's running mate. Others join APC. Insecurity, enough is enough. President tells security chiefs. Patients stranded as workers strike cripples FCT PHCs. And aviation crisis. Air peace. Foreign airlines suspend flights. Okay, I think these are all the stories we have on the Daily Trust. And
don't we have Tribune today?
Sure, we have Tribune.
Tribune.
Yes.
Why we joined APC? Joined APC? Delta Governor
and
others explain why they joined the APC. That's an interest. That would be an interesting read.
They explain how Ibadan PDP governors meeting aided exit, and Senator Kawu dumps NNPP for APC in Kano. Edo Labour Party Senator Imasiun Sheun set to defect to APC. 6-term Osun federal lawmakers quits PDP. This is getting more serious. What's happening? And this
we are steadily marching towards what
One
incidentally was predicted in one of the editions of this program in SRTV, that marching towards 2027, we are most likely to have a one-party state. Yes, if people have said that Tinubu and some of his political folks should rewind a bit and try to find out the fate that befell Abacha, because the last time that Nigeria was at this political T-junction, as it were, was in Abacha's time, when we had 5 political parties that were like the 5 leprous fingers of a leper, you know. So now the Labour Party appears to have been destroyed, and some other coalition around SDP, and PDP now has merged officially with SDP. Oh, sorry, with APC. So what that indicates is that we are marching towards 2027 with a one-party state. From one-party state and the kind of National Assembly we have, it won't cost Akpabio's National Assembly anything to have a constitutional amendment that will make Ahmed Bola Tinubu a life president. So from having a one party, then we can have a life president. And what stops Nigeria from turning into a monarchy? So that at the end of the day, he could hand over to his son. So that maybe that is when we can get political stability. So your take on that?
There's nothing much to say. We've said everything that
Nigeria is not anybody's country, so it won't work.
It definitely will not work. And the constitutional amendments for a third term, there's an implosion. Let's take one step at a time. But I see the implosion coming. Once Tinubu gets into power in 2027, the cracks will start coming into APC because it does not need any of them again. The expendables will be expended, and that is what is going to happen. Most of them will regret, the politicians will regret this move because the force that will come will be something that will swallow some of them. That's the way I see it.
Abuja, what's your message for our politicians who are in one party today and tomorrow they are flying the flag of another one? What's your counsel to them?
Let me make speech like our ex-first lady. There is God, though. What I was saying today is that there is God. They should be coming down because this thing they are doing there is not making any sense. So what's the whole...
Your laughter this morning is very infectious. You know, somebody talked of Hurricane Mary, but your laughter this morning, there is nothing hurricanic about it. It's just so infectious. I feel I could take a flight after this program and land in Abuja.
Oh my God, these politicians
No. I like being sincere with myself. Yeah. Asaba may not be treating me as fine as I expect.
Please, we want you to go to Abuja because Asaba is treating me and Mr. Odu very well.
Please expect me to make a budgetary provision. I'm flying into Abuja shortly.
I expect you Airpeace or United Air. Airpeace or United Air, so that
Airpeace. I'm at home with Airpeace. I'm at home, but the details will be when we are out of the studio is live now. So that kidnappers don't wait for me as I'm coming.
That means a contradiction. A man that is speaking like a politician, a man that did not keep to his word. How can you say you are going with flight and you are not talking of kidnappers? You are lying to her already. For me, my interests are kept here. Me and Fred Otu, we are happy here with what we have here. We are content. Whatever good that is coming, we appreciate. We are not like politicians.
That's
she knows.
So our hope and desire is that our politicians should please factor in the future of Nigeria, think less of self, and the future of the people who also voted them in. Let's factor in the interest of our people and bring back ideology and also see how we could make our democracy work more to the benefit of our people. Sir Chris had come in at some point and we were expecting him back, but it does appear that this is where we'll call it a day today. Thank you for following us on all the social media handles and channels. And of course, there are other activities that we'll be having even before the end of the day. And same times, same platform, we will also return to you tomorrow, Friday. Thank you so very much. Do have a blessed day.
I'm coming to Abuja, not him. He's a grandfather. I can't make it.
He has defected.
Nigeria Week London 2025. It's time to celebrate the pulse of Africa's most exciting nation. Nigeria Week London